that is weather. But when we say Dhaka experiences heavy rainfall during the monsoon, we are describing its climate. Weather changes rapidly and can vary from hour to hour or day to day, but climate remains relatively stable over decades or centuries. Understanding this difference is important not only for daily decision-making but also for addressing global environmental issues. Weather includes daily atmospheric elements such as temperature, wind speed, humidity, air pressure, precipitation, and cloud cover. These elements can fluctuate within a few minutes. A sudden thunderstorm or a cool breeze in the evening is an example of how quickly weather can change. In contrast, climate reflects long-term patterns and trends. For example, the deserts of the Middle East have a hot and dry climate because they consistently experience high temperatures and very little rainfall over decades. Climate provides a bigger picture of how weather behaves in a region over time. Therefore, while weather is momentary and localized, climate is more predictable and generalized. Weather forecasts are made by meteorologists who analyze data from satellites, radar, and weather stations. These forecasts help us plan our daily lives, from deciding what to wear to whether to carry an umbrella. Accurate weather forecasts are vital for agriculture, transportation, aviation, and public safety. For example, early warnings of cyclones help evacuate people in coastal regions like the Sundarbans or Cox's Bazar, saving lives. On the other hand, climatologists use long-term data to study trends and changes in the Earth's climate. They rely on tools like historical weather records, tree rings, ice core samples, and advanced climate models to make predictions about future climate conditions. One of the most serious concerns related to climate is climate change. Climate change refers to significant alterations in long-term weather patterns, largely driven by human activities such as burning fossil fuels, deforestation, industrial emissions, and unsustainable land use. These activities release greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane into the atmosphere, trapping heat and causing the Earth's average temperature to rise. This global warming results in melting glaciers, rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and shifting climate zones. Bangladesh, being a low-lying deltaic country, is particularly vulnerable to climate change. It experiences increased frequency of floods, cyclones, river erosion, and salinity intrusion, affecting agriculture, water supply, health, and livelihoods. Seasonal variations in weather are a normal part of the Earth's climate system. For example, tropical regions experience a wet and dry season, while temperate zones have 4 distinct seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. These seasonal changes are driven by the Earth's tilt and orbit around the Sun. However, due to climate change, the timing, intensity, and predictability of these seasons are being disrupted. Monsoon rains may come earlier or later than usual. Winters may become shorter and less cold. Summers may become more extreme, with longer heat waves and water shortages. Such irregularities in seasonal weather patterns are early signs of a changing climate. Another point of difference is the spatial scale. Weather is observed on a small scale, such as a city or a village. It affects people in a particular region for a limited time. For instance, a thunderstorm might affect only a part of Khulna for a few hours. Climate, on the other hand, is studied over large geographical areas and for longer time frames. The climate of an entire country or continent can be described based on long-term weather records. South Asia has a monsoon climate, while Northern Europe has a temperate oceanic climate. Understanding these broad patterns helps in planning agriculture, building infrastructure, managing water resources, and adapting to environmental risks. It's important to note that unusual weather events do not necessarily indicate a change in climate. A single cold wave or heat wave does not prove climate change. But when such extreme events become more frequent and intense over several years, they suggest a shift in climate patterns. For example, if a region experiences droughts every year, even during rainy seasons, it might indicate a long-term climate anomaly. Scientists compare past and present data to detect such trends. Climate science is complex and involves studying interactions between the atmosphere, oceans, land surfaces, and ecosystems. Global efforts are being made to slow down climate change and reduce its impact. These include international agreements like the Paris Climate Accord, which aims to limit global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius. Countries are adopting renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power, promoting energy efficiency, planting trees, and reducing waste. In Bangladesh, community-based adaptation programs, coastal embankments, floating farms, and climate-resilient housing are being introduced to cope with the effects of a changing climate. Climate education and awareness campaigns are also helping people understand the importance of sustainable living and disaster preparedness. In conclusion, weather and climate may seem similar, but they are different in terms of time, scale, and predictability.